All right, we're live. Welcome again to another GYLS momentum session. This week, we're so privileged to have one of the most amazing kinds of people that you can have on these calls, a youth coach. And again, I've said it before, it's not easy to get here or to get to GYLS as a youth coach. From something like 250 ambassadors, gets cut down to only 60 alumni, a really small group. From them, they get cut down to like 16 or 17 youth leaders. And even there's another cut to the youth coach. And we have a 2 or 3 time youth coach. Actually, I think 3 time. I think the first time I was a coach, he was already a coach. So it's amazing. He just keeps coming back, keeps on serving. So we're going to have an amazing time. We've got David Wilson, and it's honestly going to be incredible. And he's going to be touching on self-worth and expanding your identity. And identity, both of those things, self-worth is super important, but especially expanding your identity. Identity is one of the 3 things I talk about at Run Your Mission. So I'm so excited to see what he has to say about it. We're going to have a great time. Now, just like every week, in the GYLS Momentum Sessions Facebook group, I'm going to post a link or post a post, pin it to the top, and then under there you can comment all of your questions, your feedback, anything that he asks for interaction, you put it right there, okay? And without further ado, here's David.
All right, hey guys, thank you so much for being here and for staying up late and getting up early. I know that, if you didn't want to be here, you could have easily found an excuse. I know that I haven't been to as many momentum sessions as I would like, so I'm so thankful that you're here. And thank you, Sergio, for organizing this thing and always getting up, always, being there, getting ready and doing this. It wouldn't happen without you, so thank you. And this is pretty interesting. It feels like I'm sort of just talking to myself, but I know you're out there, and thank you for being here. And so I kind of want to start by asking you a question. You don't have to type this into the pinned page or anything. Just think in your mind, what is it, and some of you may already know this, what is one thing that stops us and holds us back from achieving what we want and from getting to where we know that we can be? And the answer is fear. But it doesn't really stop at fear, because when you look at it, fear is sort of it's a big term. And what is fear caused from? Fear is caused from low self-worth. Because if you have a goal out there but you're afraid to take action, of course you are afraid, but it's not just that you're afraid, it's that you don't believe that you have the skills, you don't believe that you know the right people. There's sort of something that tells you that you're not enough. And so today we're going to talk about fear in the sense that it plays off of self-worth and the dynamic relationship that they have between the two. And so I'm going to start with what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the way that self-worth affects the 3 main areas of our lives, which is relationships, in our careers or at school, and personally within ourselves. And to get started, I was hoping that I could tell you a little story, a personal story about how I came to understand the lesson of how important self-worth is in relationships. And this isn't just like a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend. This is with your family, your friends, every single person that you interact with. And so right now I'm a freshman in college, but when I was a sophomore in high school, I entered this class, and it was AP Environmental Science, and it was a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of people that I didn't know, and I was very nervous. I didn't know people, I didn't know what to expect, and so I was just hoping that somebody would come down and sit by me, because I was in the way back. I didn't want to meet people or anything. And this girl came in, and she sat down next to me, and we started talking, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, like maybe I'll have a friend. That'll be awesome. And class ended, and I felt really good about it. She seemed like a really cool person, like, sort of an average person, like fun to talk to. Like, she didn't seem like she had many problems or weird or something. And she was a very cool person. And as time went on and like the class happened more and more, and over a few months we became better and better friends. And we would talk outside of school, we would text, sometimes we would hang out. And it was about in January, a few months later, when she decided to open up to me and tell me some things that she hadn't really told anybody else before. besides her immediate family. And those things, they shocked me, and I can only imagine how she would feel and how her family felt when they heard them. When she was 6 years old, she was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and when she was 10 years old, diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And I can't even imagine having one of my friends hear that news. But if that was me, like when I was 10 years old and being medicated for these different mental illnesses, I mean, I can't even imagine what a toll that takes on your self-worth and how you think of yourself. And when I heard that news, when she told me that, it sort of lit a fire in me. Like I wanted to take on a new role in her life. I wanted to be there for her and help her through this. And it was sort of naive of me to think that I could just go in and fix her. That was my idea. Like, I'm going to go in and fix her. But nobody needs to be fixed. And so some more and more months passed on, and it's eventually getting to the end of the school year, and I realized that I kind of like her. Like, I'm like, I want to be there for her. I want to help her through this, and I want to be her boyfriend in that way. I want to do that, and I want to help her. And she also told one of our mutual friends that she liked me too. And so I'm like, this is awesome. Like, we totally got a chance. I'd never had a girlfriend before. And I'm like, this is cool. This is going pretty easily. And so eventually, on the last day of school, I decide that, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask her out today, and I'm going to grow up, and this is going to be awesome. She's going to say, yes, it's going to be great. And I did something a little crazy because I'm like an idealistic person. I wrote in her yearbook, like, will you be my girlfriend? Like, do you want to go out with me? And she didn't read it for a while, and I found her after class, and I said, did you read what I wrote in your yearbook? And she's like, yeah, I read it. Like, very cold expression, yeah, I read it. And I'm like, what do you say? And she was like, I'll call you tomorrow. But not in a way like, oh, I'm going to call you tomorrow. Like, I'll call you tomorrow, and we can talk about it. And so, sure enough, the next day rolls around, and I'm waiting for a call. She calls me, and she tells me that not only does she not want to be my girlfriend, but she doesn't want to be my friend at all, and she never wants to hear from me ever again. And when I first heard that, I thought, am I really that ugly? Because I didn't know what else to think. I didn't know, like, why is she doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, we were such good friends, and like we both felt this. So why is she backing away like this? And I mean, I was pretty upset, so I kept calling her and calling her. And then eventually she said, like, if you call me one more time, I'm gonna block your phone number. So then I called her like three more times, and then I quit it. And that was the end of it for many months until finally I went to date with Destiny in December, maybe like a half a year later. And on the first night there, Tony talks about this thing called effective blaming, which is where you get in contact with somebody who may have hurt you, who you didn't end terms on very well, and you tell them, listen, I want to forgive you. I'm no longer mad. I want to, like, you did these things to me and they hurt me a lot, but I forgive you and I want to thank you for doing that to me because I wouldn't be the person that I am without that happening. So thank you. And she was the only person in my life that I felt that I could really do that for. And so I reached out to her and I said, you know, you hurt me a lot when that happened, but I forgive you and I've grown as a person and I'm not mad. And when I opened up like that, she came back and she said, it's so good to hear you say that. Like I miss being friends with you. I miss you in my life and I really hope that we can become friends again. And I was ecstatic. I was like, I like found the lottery or something. Like I need to do this with every single person because obviously it works. But it wasn't until after that day that I really understood why she did what she did. And thinking about it now, she thought so little of herself that she felt that anybody who could care for her in such a deep way, whether it was me or her family or any of her friends, whoever could care for her in such a deep, genuine way was obviously crazy. Because how could they love somebody as awful as me? And so I realized that she did what she did to protect herself, and she did it to protect me. She didn't mean to hurt me. She was protecting me. And when I realized that, I was able to thank her. And that's really where I began to understand, you know, maybe we could have had a chance at something. I mean, I am absolutely 100% happy where I am right now with my girlfriend. But sometimes I wonder, like, what would have happened if I was with Andrea? Like, not in a, that sounds bad, not in a way like I want something to happen, but like, I wonder how that would have worked out. And I realized that because of the way that she thought so little of herself, that she was blocking herself out to all the love that she could receive from her family. The only thing that she could really receive connection from were her animals. She has dogs and cats and ducks, and because she felt that they would love her no matter who she was. And it's been my mission to spread that, because I've also been talking to some other of my friends. I've heard this same situation played out with multiple people about how everything was going so great. One of my friends told me everything was going so great. They were dating for 9 months, and then out of the blue one day, her boyfriend just said, "You don't deserve, like, I don't deserve you. You are so much better than me, and I don't want to be, to use the Fault in Our Stars metaphor, a grenade in your life. I don't want to be that grenade. I don't want to blow you up when I blow me up." And so, in saying this, my goal is that you understand just how deep your self-worth affects people. It doesn't just affect you, it affects every single person around you. And if you don't have that self-love, you can't let other people love you. You can't take that love in. And that's the deepest pain in the world. Because everybody out there has somebody for them, but if you don't believe that you do, then you're never going to find it. You're never going to take it. And so that's really the end for that first part, and that's the part that always gets me the most, because I was there. I was somebody that was affected, and I'm happy to say that her and I are very good friends now. We talk, and we're both at college, but it makes me think, and I pray for her and hope for the best for her every day, and I try to guide her along the path. But the reality is that nobody can give you self-worth but you. It's something that cannot be given and cannot be taken away. And so with that, I want to transition into just another smaller stories about how self-worth can affect your career and like how you do in school. And this is a story that I think all of you have heard before, because it was told by a certain speaker at GYLS. And it's the story about how a guy woke up and he had a brilliant idea on how to make a movie script. And he's like, "This is a great idea. I got this fish," and he gets lost, and his dad has to go all around looking for him. And it's a crazy adventure, and they travel through the seas, and eventually they find the sun, and everything becomes good. And he's writing the script out, writing it, and he finishes, and he says, this, this is good." But he didn't take the next step. He didn't take the action after that to make it something that people watch. It was just something in his head still. And sure enough, this movie, as you probably know, is Finding Nemo, and the person that wrote that, or that, is Anand. But he hesitated. He didn't feel like his work was so good. And what I mean by this is because laziness isn't just laziness. You're lazy. I'm lazy too, because sometimes we fear what will happen if we do take action. Because if I knew that I could, go out and run a marathon, if I knew that for a fact, but I didn't, I stayed inside, I was sort of a couch potato, but I knew that I could do it, there would be nothing that would stop me. But if I'm not certain of my abilities and knowing that I can do something like that, I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to go take action because I don't believe that I can do it. And so for this last part of the self-worth, I want to talk about how it has an effect in our personal lives. And this is something that I'm sure a lot more of us are familiar with. And obviously, whether it's our friend or whether it's been us in the past or a family member or somebody, we all have known somebody who has had depression or anxiety or felt suicidal. In fact, right now, like if you want to go in and type in on the page thing, the pinned post, just write yes or no if you've ever known somebody that has been very depressed or suicidal, because it's a lot more than we think. And I think that a lot of people in our lives really struggle from these things. And the example I just wanted to use for that is something that we're familiar with that just happened, but it really happens every day. You don't hear about everybody in the news, but the people such as Robin Williams, you hear about because you see them and you say, they looked so happy, they looked so normal. Like, how could something like this happen to somebody that was such a happy person and could make so many joy in so many people's lives? And just in the same way with my friend who, when she walked into that class, she looked totally normal. You know, the people that look totally normal sometimes are the ones that are hurting the deepest. And this is self-worth, and cultivating it and having a healthy sense of it within yourself affects every area of your life. Other people, personally, in your career. This is something that no matter what, it's going to follow you around. And so this deserves to be a #1 priority in your life and my life as well, because I'm always growing and I'm always trying to get to that next level. This deserves to be a #1 priority in our lives, because if we don't have self-worth, then everything that we learn, everything that we try to go out and achieve, it's going to be in vain, because we're not going to feel that we're worthy of that success or worthy of that greatness. And so when Marlon says something like, you can never walk in your greatness until you step outside your comfort zone. That comfort zone is low self-worth. And once you step outside that, that already opens up a world of new possibilities. And so this is something that I've devoted my life to thinking about and helping cultivate in other people, because I know that this has affected me extremely negatively in the past, and I don't want that for anybody else. I want people to wake up, to look themselves in the mirror and say, I look good, or I am awesome. I'm going to rock today. Today is going to be mine. And to wake up with a sense of, like, nothing's holding you back, not even yourself. And so right there, that's where I want to end the sort of self-worth portion. And I really don't know what time it is.
We're only about 20 minutes in, and that was honestly incredible, David. Probably my favorite session so far, and it's not even half done yet. It was
Wow,
amazing.
thank you so much. Thank you, Sergio. I'm gonna I'm gonna do even better now because you said that. All
Oh my
right,
God.
so good. All right. So the second part that I want to talk about right now is the way that you can affect self-worth by the labels and the way that you define yourselves. And this one, it ties right in with what we just talked about with self-worth, because the way that you define yourself, say you use certain words such as I am shy, or I am not good in school, or I am not fun to be around. When you label yourself with those sort of labels, those are your beliefs as well. Those are the things that you internalize so much in your mind that they become a part of who you are. And so to really, be able to take your chains off and to just go for something and to not hold back and just to know that you are like that you can do something and that you're free. You need to be able to have beliefs inside you, personal beliefs about yourself that will empower you and not disempower you. And so what I like to do with this is called a process called sentence stems. So you're going to start with a certain phrase, and let's say it is I am, and you say I am successful, I am powerful, I have the ability to achieve all of my dreams. And so when you have those beliefs, when you place put in place positive beliefs instead of those negative ones about yourself and who you are and what you're capable of, you have such an advantage over what you did before, because instead of being pulled back by your beliefs are pushing you forward and pulling you towards your goals, instead of, being something that you're constantly fighting. It's You're aligned with yourself, and it's sort of like you're gliding there or something. And so what I want you guys to do right now is to go to the pinned post, and I want you to take some time, take a few minutes, and think about what were some ways that you've defined yourself in the past, some of the ways that were negatively affecting you. And maybe write down, 3 or 4, as many as you can do. Write down, like, I am a boring conversationalist. I am not good in sports. So just write down some of those beliefs that you have had that have been negatively affecting you in the past. I'll give you guys a minute, so take your time with that, and I'll be right here.
Awesome. So I posted that question on the post. How have you defined yourself in the past? And so because of the lag, it's going to take them a bit to even see that, think about it. So give them a minute. And now, because this is live and it's awesome, how about we ask you first? How have you defined yourself in the
Thank you.
past?
Thank you for asking that. I forgot that, like, that I didn't say that. So the way that I've defined myself in the past has been, like, I used to see myself as somebody who was very, like, awkward around other people, and of like not good at starting conversations. So obviously these aren't beliefs that I consciously told myself, but unconsciously I was saying, I am shy. I am not fun to talk to. And I'm not able to hold a good conversation. So those would be some 3 main ways, because I see that, like, I mean, in the past I was very introverted. I still like to have time by myself and stuff, but who doesn't? But in the past I would shy away from conversations and avoid people. And it was because of those beliefs. But once I changed those beliefs, once I started telling myself over and over again, and not just thinking it, but really making it something that I believed, and was able to, really change my life. And it was such a little step, it was such a little thing. But once I did that and I implemented new beliefs, it was just saying, like, I was just being pulled towards people. I have some other beliefs that they're not exactly about our identity, but for example, when I'm coming up to speak, or like before this momentum session today, I thought to myself, and I was sort of getting it in my body, I would say things like, I am powerful, I am funny, and people enjoy listening to me. And when I have beliefs like that, it's like I can, they're just pulling me towards whatever. I don't have to really think about it. I just take something and I go. I don't have to be up in my mind the whole time. I can really just speak from my heart, and that'll get the job done. And so, as you guys are putting that in a while, like right after, very soon actually, I'm going to want you to write in some new beliefs. And I'm going to tell you mine and the way that I changed mine first. And then I'll give you guys some time to go in there and write some new ways that you're going to personally define yourself, and how you're going to have a new personal identity. And so, as I said before, my old beliefs: I am shy, I'm not fun to be around, I can't hold a conversation. My new beliefs after that, because I realized that those old ones were totally false. They didn't make any sense. They weren't serving me in any way. So why would I believe something that wasn't helping me achieve my dreams? You're just wasting resources, and you're making yourself feel bad. And so I changed those beliefs, and I got it inside me and made new ones that said, I am fun to be around. I am outgoing. I may enjoy my time with myself, but I enjoy the company of others even more. And so not only were I saying those things to myself, I was getting them in my body, and I was, you gotta, it's sort of like an incantation where you say something, but you move your body, you make your move, you do something that makes you feel powerful while you're saying it. So it's not just like an affirmation. I don't know if you guys have ever like had to write affirmations in school or something like, I will not stick gum in that girl's hair again. I will not stick gum in that girl's hair again. And you just write it over and over again. But when you take something and it's called an incantation, where you have something that like a phrase, but you don't just write it, you say it and you move your body in ways that make it so you believe what you're saying and makes it so it's easier to believe. And so I'm going to give you some time right now. Hopefully you've already gotten some of the past negatively not so empowering beliefs that you had. And right now I want you to take a minute or two and write in what are some new ways that you're going to define yourself. It doesn't have to follow any specific structure. You don't have to say, I am. Just write what you feel. Write something that you know will help you see yourself in a more positive and impactful way. So go ahead, take the time and do that right now.
Awesome. And we've actually got some answers from your first question. How have you defined yourself in the past? We've got Kyla who said, I'm not smart, I don't fit in anywhere, and I'm not pretty. And then Ariana said, I'm shy, I don't fit in with the kids in my school. So we had two that we don't fit in. And I also wrote the new question, what are your new empowering beliefs? And so maybe you can address what might be some empowering beliefs for those specifically, because really, it's pretty much the opposite, right, of whatever it is. So we've got I'm not smart, I'm shy, I don't fit in, I'm not pretty. So maybe you could give us some examples of what empowering ones for those might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, first of all, I want to thank Kai for staying up and for, because I mean, it's 2:30 in the morning or so right now, and I want to thank her for being up and for listening to this, and for, again, for everybody else. I wanted to give that specifically for her. And as you said, two of them said that I don't fit in. And I would say that mine is sort of very similar to that as well. And it's a belief that many people have, especially in our younger years. It's something that really holds us back, and I would say makes it so we don't show the world our real selves. And I'm guilty of this too, absolutely, of holding back or maybe showing a part of me that I'm not in order to try to get people to like me. And when that happens, whatever relationships or whatever happens, it's fake. It's just fake because you're not being who you really are. People aren't seeing you. You're putting up a mask, a facade in front, and you're saying, this is me. But in reality, it's not you at all. There's the Shel Silverstein poem, and it talks about masks and people who put on red masks, but underneath they were really blue. And how they walked by each other, they walked by all the red masks in society, and they would say, there's not a blue like me. Nobody out there is a blue. I'm just all alone. But they didn't realize that under everybody's red mask, everybody was already blue. And they were already the same, but you would never know because they all put up those masks, every single person. And so a new empowering way to define I don't fit in, for me, this is the one that I came up with, is there are people out there that will love me just the way that I am. And people will accept me for who I am, and I don't need to become anybody else other than who I am today. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have room to change, because there's always room to change and to become, better individuals. But true friends will know who you are, they'll accept you for who you are, and they like you for that. And they're not going to leave you there for that. And so when you find true friends that accept you for the way that you are, nothing's going to hold you back, because you know that you're worthy of their love, because you know that they see you the way that you actually are. And one of the other ones I know that you said that I heard was, I'm not pretty. And this is something that, again, affects so many of us. And I mean, me as well. I'm not going to lie. I am not immune to anything that I'm saying. I feel that I have a good handle on a lot of this, but I'm always willing to improve. And so, when I wake up this morning and I'm like, oh, look, got this pimple here, like awesome, like right during the momentum session, like isn't that great? Like, I mean, I always have like a minute where I'm like, that's not ideal, but I realize that it's not like the people who are gonna judge me based on how I look or how I talk or something like that, the people that judge me for that are the people that aren't gonna see inside who I really am. So I think this is the way that I think that if I show people who I really am and they just see my outside and my superficial qualities, then those are not the people I want to impress anyway. So why does it even matter to them? And that's a lot easier said than done. Believe me, especially for girls. I know that, I mean, I'm not a girl. I can't fully understand what it's like and to be judged pretty much solely based on your appearance at first. But nobody notices scars on a galloping horse. And so what that means is that, you may have a few flaws. We all have some flaws in the way we look. We all have flaws. But if you go out and you're achieving your dreams and you're being the person that you know that you can be and just rocking it, just absolutely going for life and going for the bull by the horns and just doing it, people aren't going to notice those things about you. They're going to see, wow, she is such an inspiration. He is so nice, so kind. And they're not going to notice some of those things that, we may worry about. And so, for me, a belief opposite of I am not pretty wouldn't be I am pretty. It is, even though you are, it would be I am capable of great things. And people won't see any flaw if I'm going out there and I'm doing those great things. And I'm going out there and showing them, because not only will other people see that about me, but I'm going to see it within myself as well. And what is that going to do to my self-worth? That's going to make it go through the roof. And it's going to make it so, again, nothing is stopping me because I know who I am personally. So I think that by now you guys should have some empowering ways that you're going to define yourself in there. And so, Sergio, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear some of them.
Yeah, we don't have any yet. I'm pretty sure everyone is like glued to their screen listening to you instead of answering the questions. Oh, we just got one as soon as you stopped talking. And actually, we'll give them some time to come up with some more. And I actually have a pretty short example that actually addresses two of them. So I'll switch it to me real quick. So I'm not smart and I don't fit in. So when I was in elementary school, I'm obviously not in elementary school anymore. I used to get like 100% on assignments. Like I used to have the belief that I am smart. And then as I got into high school, maybe grade 9 or 10 or so, with the people I started hanging around, and in order to fit in, I basically had to dumb myself down from being really, really smart and hanging out with those kind of people to actually being accepted by my friends. And then going for maybe 60s and 70s, sometimes I could squeak in like an 80 or something, but definitely not like a 90s student. And so it basically hit both of those beliefs. In order to be to fit in, I couldn't really hold the belief that I was as smart as I wanted to be, basically. Until finally I realized that that was total crap and I could fit in anywhere I wanted and be as smart as I wanted. And that happened in my second year of university. I let myself fail my first class ever. I'd never failed a class. That was just not in my blueprint. Like that was the limit. Like there was no way I would fail. I would let myself slack off and get maybe even 50s and 60s, but at a 50 or I guess a 49 you fail. And I let myself fail a class. And that's where I was like, no more. This is not happening. The next semester after that, I got straight A's because I decided, screw that. I am smart. I don't care about fitting in. I'll fit in with whoever accepts me for who I am. And so that kind of hit both of those. That was just an interesting example that reminded me of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great example. And I mean, Sergio, you're an amazing example of somebody who has understood their beliefs and was able to change it and to
And
be.
smart, and you fit in everywhere. She has
So
new beliefs. I am wise beyond measure. Yes, you are. I will be loved and accepted by those who are meant to be in my life. And then imperfections are perfection. Wow, those are incredibly powerful.
I like that. I didn't hear it cut for a second. Who was that?
Kyla, and I totally said her name wrong. Again, I'm sorry, Kyla. She's in
I
Fiji in like, and yeah, it's like 2:30 in the morning or something for her, and she's up and committed.
I know.
So
It's
that's
amazing.
incredible.
What was that one that she said? I like that a lot. Imperfections are perfect, or is that
Im
what it was?
Imperfections are perfect, or are perfection. Yeah.
Imperfect.
And actually, Emily last, or maybe not the last one, 1 or 2 sessions ago, her session was on accepting your perfect imperfections. So, and that was an awesome session. So, but yeah,
I
that's
know.
a really great belief. I love I'm wise beyond measure. That's just incredible.
I really like that word choice. Wise. It's not I am smart, I am intelligent beyond measure, because that would sound egotistical, but wise is sort of like I mean, I think of an owl, like a wise old owl, and it's very like I don't know that I just really like that.
I like it too, for sure. It plays into like having life experience and having more than just street smarts and being able to add and divide and stuff, right? It's
Exactly.
it's more powerful, and the choice of words is definitely important with how you define yourself, the words you choose. And I will be
Hmm.
loved and accepted by those who are meant to be in my life. That's so powerful too.
Wow. Wow. Just think of the way that that could have like such an impact on you. I mean, from the original ways that you would think about, the love that you deserved and, what you thought you should be getting, and then switching it to a belief like that. And just imagine how radically that's going to change your relationships, how it's going to change yourself, how you're going to feel when people accept you and love you and just you're open to everything. You're open to the love that people around you give you. And it's a whole nother world. And it all starts when you make those changes in your beliefs. And Sergio, I wanted to say that you're a very good example of identifying your beliefs and being able to change them. And you have an interesting story because your two that you used, they sort of play off each other. Because I think that maybe your original one and the other one followed right after because you felt that you didn't fit in. And so to fit in, you altered yourself. You sort of conformed at that point. And you said that you weren't smart, but it's because you sort of were caught in a cycle, it sounds like to me, that I want to fit in more than I want to be smart, so I'm going to do that. And it sort of goes round and round like that.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'd held on to that belief, I wouldn't have this degree on my wall right now that I need to fit in, and so I'm going to lose or to redefine myself as not smart. And everyone deep down has the need to feel loved and to be connected, but there are other ways to get it than just to conform yourself to fit into a certain group of people, right? You can be smart and still, and what, oh my God, what Kyla said is just perfect. I will be loved and accepted by those who are meant to be in my life. If there's people judging you and not accepting you and you don't fit in with them, they're not meant to be in your life, right?
Yeah, that's a perfect point. Like, Sergio, I look up and I see that degree on your wall, and you have so many friends. You have such an amazing, you know, ability to make stuff with your career because you have that because of the friends you've met at university, the friends that you have at GYLS, and it was sort of you made such a shift because if you hadn't made that, you wouldn't have that up there. You would be with a peer group that is not at the level that you are at. And I mean, I can think of a direct way that that would affect me. We wouldn't be having this momentum session right now. So I'm very happy that you made those changes.
And yeah, I still actually, here's the thing too. The belief that you may not fit in is a fear, but fear is false expectations appearing real. You don't know for sure that you're not going to fit in. And so I thought I wouldn't fit in. I thought I had to kind of be like the people that were doing bad in school and stuff. But really, when I decided, screw that, I don't care if I fit in or not, I'm going to be smart because that's who I am, I still fit in. They were still my friends. We still hung out. Some of them, I actually elevated some of them, and some of them started doing better in school. We'd all go, and it would be like Friday night or something, and we had an assignment due Saturday morning. And usually we would have all just gone and partied and forget it, we'll get a 60 and we'll just kind of half do it and whatever. But I'd be like, no, I'm going to the library. I'm getting at least an 80 or a 90. And then one or two of my friends would tag along, hey, if we have this thing due, I'm going to come and do it too. So for everyone has the need to fit in and be connected. And so it's not just you. You can actually be the example where other people want to fit into that. And so that's what you want to strive for. You can, in your identity, be a role model and an example. And that's what leaders do, right?
Exactly. That is an amazing point with that. We all sort of, you know, all of us are not immune to insecurities. That's just a part of life. But when we realize that everybody else has similar ones, then we're able to do stuff like that and step outside our comfort zone, outside of our group, and we're able to say, you know what, I'm going to be a leader with this. And sure enough, like you said, people will follow. If you're strong and strong in your convictions, people are going to be willing to follow you, and they're going to understand, all right, maybe he's onto something, like, let's go hit the books, let's go to the library. That's a perfect example. Okay. Do you have any more responses?
Not yet. So if you guys are listening, because I know there's a lag, some people aren't actually watching fully live. They start watching from the time that they start. So they might be like 5 or 10 minutes behind even, but there are several viewers. So I know Ariana's on here. I know Maria's on here. Maria, post your thing. I know there's a bunch of you guys on here. So make sure you go to the Momentum Sessions group. The post is pinned to the top and just comment under there. And also for the people that are going to watch after, because I know some of you maybe have school. I know a bunch of you said that you really wanted to get on, but you couldn't. You've made it this far and you're watching 45 minutes in after. Write it down. Write down what your old beliefs were, scratch them out, and then write down your new beliefs and physically write them down on a piece of paper. Don't type them. I know it's 2014. Grab a piece of paper, find a pen somewhere, write them down.
Exactly. This stuff, you're not going to change it by just writing it out and thinking it. I know that I made that same mistake. And it took me a while before I realized this is something that I have to go for. I can't just, just think it in my head. This is something that I have to write this down. I have to make this a part of my life. Put this on your mirror, put this on your ceiling. So when you wake up, you look at it and it gives you something, like you wake up and you see, okay, those are my new beliefs. That's how I'm going to live my life today. So do whatever you can, whatever you need to make these changes and to make this something that isn't something you have to think about. It's just something you wake up and you do. You are this. You are this person. Because it's not going to change if you don't take massive action for this. And I've struggled with this, and I want to thank Maria so much for that, because she really pushes me. And I don't know where I would be without her, and I thank her because sometimes I'm a little bit lazy and I don't do things and I hesitate. But I'm so grateful that I have somebody that pushes me, that knows what I can do, and that won't settle for anything less.
That's fantastic. We've actually got one quick comment. It's not really an answer to the new empowering belief, but she said, David, you're so inspirational. And that's Nancy, one of our coaches, one of the team Big Blue. So thank you, Nancy, for that.
Thank you, Nancy. That means so much to me. Thank you. And so, real quickly, I mean, this is just sort of a side note. If you're, in the process of making your new beliefs, like, focus on that. Don't listen to what I'm saying. But this is just sort of a side note. There are many ways that we can affect our self-worth and affect the way that we define ourselves and our personal identity. And it starts when you learn about it, GYLS, the mirror exercise. where you go up and you say to the mirror, you look yourself in the eye and you say, I am handsome. I am a warrior. I am capable of great things. And when you look at yourself and you tell yourself these beliefs while looking into your eyes, it makes it that much more real. And it makes it, again, so it's not just something you're thinking, but it becomes a part of you. And with that as well, we have the sentence completions, which is more, again, for your personal identity, where you start off with something. I got this. This is from the book that Gary King recommends. It's called The Six Pillars of Self-Esteem, and I highly recommend that you all read this. And the author, Nathaniel Branden, talks about how you start with the beginning of a sentence. Say, if I lived today with 5% more self-worth, how would my life be different? And then it makes you think of all the possibilities that could come up if you make the changes in self-worth. And then, you may have another question that says, I can live more consciously if I ... And then you finish those. And so I highly recommend that you get that book. I'm not paid to say that, but it's changed my life, and I know that it can help you. But those are some examples. Start off your day by saying, if I were to live with just a little bit more self-worth, a little bit more belief in my abilities, how would my life be different? How would today be different? How would I act different in my relationships? How would I be more willing to help out somebody that I see on the side of the road? And questions like that are so powerful because you may not think about them at first. You may not think about all the change that can be made if you just make this change in yourself first. But once you do that, then a whole new world of possibilities comes up and you're able to just rock everything.
Awesome. So we don't actually have any more people posting. I think they're all just glued to the screen. Because there are people
No,
on live. I see the number. The people are just committed to listening, and people are even liking my question and not answering it. So, but that's okay.
it's
Anyways,
okay. Take your time, guys. Whatever, I mean, as long as you get this done, and obviously in a timely manner, like try to do this as soon as possible because every minute that you waste of having these new beliefs and these new ways of defining yourself, that it only hurts you. And actually, that's not true. It doesn't only hurt you, it affects everybody in your life. So try to do this as soon as possible. Make this a part of your life. Make it a part of every single day you wake up and say, I am powerful, I am smart, I fit in. And make these beliefs something that you see yourself. And when people describe you or you describe yourself, more importantly, when you describe yourself, you think, yeah, that's what I am. I am powerful. I am capable. I have all the abilities within me now. All I need is within me now.
awesome. We've actually got a comment, and it's from the world famous Maria. Her old belief, she got both questions in one post. So her old belief was I can only master 2 or 3 areas of my life, but not all of them because I don't have the time. And then her new belief was that I can actually make time to do everything I want. I just have to push myself to organize and commit. I can master all areas of my life, not just a few. So that's fantastic.
Thank you for the comment, Mac. But and I'd like to say something to that. And in another book, it sort of talks about something similar to that. It's in The Richest Man in Babylon. It talks about if you save a tenth of the money that you make, you're not going to you're not going to be at a lack of money. You're always going to be able to find new ways of paying your bills or something. But if you put away just a tenth of what you save, it's not going to affect you. And just in the same way with time, if you take some of your time that you may be, on Facebook, you may be sort of, and relaxation time is good. It's good to have that. It's good to be able to unwind. But a lot of ourselves, myself included, sometimes I get carried away on social media and other stuff that isn't really moving me towards where I want to be. And so if you can cut out just a little bit, maybe just 10 minutes here of this, and you pick up a book and read for 10 minutes, that's going to compound so much over time. And who knows? I mean, you'll finish a book and you'll be like, I didn't even know I was reading that because you took it at such little steps and then you finally got there. And it's because you saved a little bit of time like that. So thank you for your comment again.
So we've actually got another one from Nancy. Her old belief was I'm not a good enough mother and unable to protect my children. The new belief discovered at Day with Destiny, I always overflow with love for my children and have thought them as much as possible that I'm certain that they're strong, fulfilled, and full of awareness. Wow, that's powerful.
Wow. Nancy, I want to applaud you for making that shift because that's such a beautiful thing that you did, not only for yourself, but for your children as well. And I mean, just think of the life that they're going to have with a mother who plays at that level. It's so much better. You're giving them so many more opportunities. I'm so happy for you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Awesome.
Let me see. So it looks like there was a decent lag today because people aren't answering the question until just now. Um,
Hmm,
so I'll just ask you another question. In
for sure.
terms of the leverage to switch your belief from a disempowering one to empowering one, not everyone goes to Day with Destiny, even knows what it is, or even UPW. First of all, maybe you can explain what leverage is, how you can get it, and then what your leverage was, and how someone can maybe find the leverage to switch a belief. Because maybe they have a disempowering one, like I'm not smart or I don't fit in, but they don't have the leverage, a strong enough reason why to change it right now. So maybe you can speak to leverage specifically and how to get someone to change a belief, maybe when they don't want to or when they don't know how to.
That's a very good question. Thank you, Sergio.
I just made it up on the spot.
You're the man. So to that, I would say that regarding leverage, that it's exactly what you said. That's where all change really starts, and that you can't have that change until you have pressure on yourself. And once you get enough leverage, which really what it is just something that makes you able to change. That it makes it so that not only like do you think, oh, I'm gonna change. It's something that like no more of this, not another day, not another minute. I am changing right now. Because when you get such leverage, and in some people it may be something, well, I'll start with what it is in me. When I got leverage on how to change my levels of self-worth, I realized how much this was costing me in the relationships with my friends. And at this point, I hadn't met Maria as well, so my intimate relationship as well. And so it was something that was affecting me and the people around me as well, because I didn't feel like I was, good enough to talk to them. I felt like that they didn't want to be around me. And the pain of all those things together was so much that it was more than the pleasure of like staying in my comfort zone and not getting out there. And I said, you know what, this needs to change. This needs to change right now. I can't no longer be living like this with thinking of myself in this way because it has cost me the ability to make so many friends, the ability to have a good relationship. And once I changed that, it was instant. The changes that happened were instant. I didn't have to think about it. I had that leverage and I knew that I need to do this. I got something that I cared so much about, which was having good friends. And once I had that and I realized that having low self-worth was getting in the way of that and creating those friends. Once I realized that, that was my leverage because I realized I deserve to have many friends and an amazing relationship. And with that, that was my leverage. And in some people, it may be, for example, there's this one story about how a dad was a very heavy smoker and he never felt that he was going to stop. He knew the effects of it and he said, you know, I just don't want to stop. I enjoy it and I know it's going to cause some pain in my life, but you know what, I like it and I'm going to keep doing it. And then one day his daughter came into his study where he was reading his newspaper, and she said, she just came in and was hysterically crying and was just in tears all over. And his dad is seeing his daughter right there who is just crying and in such pain. And he says, like, sweetheart, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she says, Daddy, I don't want you to die. While she's sobbing. And when he's like, why? I'm not going to die. I'm right here. And she's like, yes, you will. You're going to die. And she pointed at the cigarettes. And when she did that, then he realized, wow, this isn't something that just affects me. This affects my whole family. And my daughter's right now here in front of me with tears and crying like a maniac because she doesn't want me to die. I need to make this change. I need to make this change right now because I want to make my daughter happy. And when you have things like that, and a perfect example would be what Nancy said with her children and how she said, you know what, no more of this. I'm going to be the best mother I can possibly be because I want them to have the best life that they possibly can. That was her leverage. Her children was her leverage. And when she understood that, she was able to make the change and make such a positive impact in her life. I hope that that explained a little bit more. Do you have anything I can elaborate on more?
Yeah, maybe that was definitely amazing on leverage, and you touched on it. One of the biggest pieces of leverage is basically that leverage is what makes something difficult easy. So when you have a huge boulder you need to move, and you have a lever, if you try just picking it up, you may not be able to. But if you put the lever in the right place with leverage, you can move mountains. So it's easy. What causes leverage is what you said, pain and pleasure, the desire to gain pleasure and the need to avoid pain. And so you'll reach the point of leverage when you have an experience that causes you enough pain in whatever area to change. And so when I failed that class, I had enough pain that I decided, well, wow, I wasted a whole year, half a year, semester, whatever. I wasted all that time. Now I'm going to have to go and retake that class. That event gave me enough pain to change. Usually, pleasure, the desire to gain pleasure won't be enough as much leverage as the need to avoid pain will. And so if you feel like you don't have enough leverage, the pain has to be immediate too. It has to be now, because a lot of people know that smoking is bad, like you said, and they won't quit because they don't see the pain as immediate. They see it in the future in 20, 30 years when they're 60. Oh, whatever, I'll deal with it when I'm older. So to have the leverage that you need, you have to create pain immediately, like in the present moment. And so I knew that slacking off in school was eventually going to probably be not the best idea, but it wasn't until I got the grade. I knew that I'd blown the midterm. I knew I didn't do assignments and I was on the path to failing, but I didn't have the leverage to change it until I got the number that said, you failed, you have to retake this class. That instantly made me decide, this isn't who I am. I need to change. I have to do something. And I did something, and I made it happen. So if you feel like you may not have enough leverage to change now, all you have to do is think about in your head, create the pain in the present moment, because the pain may be in the future where you may not see any at all. And so pain can be good if it moves you to change for the better. I think we actually had another post. We had Ariana on her what her new empowering beliefs are, and she said, "I'm perfect the way I am, and I am not shy." And that's fantastic. And instead of framing what you are as you're not this, you want to frame it as what you are. So instead of I am not shy, I am outgoing, I am friendly, I am loved by everyone that accepts me. She also put, I will attract people who accept me the way I am and create an awesome peer group. Awesome. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
And so it's, what is it? It's 11 for me. It's 3 in the morning for Kyla. Kyla, if you're still on here, you are absolutely incredible. You're the best. We applaud you all the way from Fiji. We've got Fiji, California, Canada, Toronto. I know there's some people in Europe, so it's amazing how all these people from all over the world commit to getting on here, whether it's early in the morning for the US, or really super late for Australia, mid-afternoon, having to cut your day in half to come here if you're over in Europe. So I commend all of you for getting on here. It's absolutely incredible.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for that. And I'm pretty excited because I can finally call myself an international speaker and I didn't even have to leave my room.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I've like Dolly is in the other room. She's listening to this, and then we got people like Kyla. We have people from all over the world, and it's such a blessing that I'm able to speak with you guys right now and to, share this and to take in your feedback as well, so we can all grow together.
Yeah. So let me see. Doesn't look like we have any more comments. If you guys are watching live, if you have any last minute questions or comments, you can feel free to post them. And David, if you have any last words before we end it off, um, and I'll let you know if we get
Yeah,
any comments.
I got one thing actually. It's not really a comment, but I wanted to do this because I felt like it really related. And so let me just get it set up. Okay, guys, I am not the best singer. I'm going to admit that. And that's something that, like, I'm not going to tell myself I am a great singer because I don't think I am. But I wanted to sing you guys a song, a short part of a song. It's like a minute, so it won't break your ears too bad. But I wanted to sing this to you. And I got the music too, so it's going to be perfect. And shout out to Dahlia because this is her favorite song. She wanted a shout out for this, and this is for all of you listening right now, all of the people that are going to listen in the future. I know that sometimes you may feel like a lot of like everybody's sort of against you, and that you're really all alone in the world. But I want you to know that that's not true, and if everything else fails, just know that you have me, and I will be there, and I will help you. So here, okay, I'm gonna sing this song, and I hope that you can hear it. So, because I'm just gonna do it. That is my wish for you guys, and I want to thank you one more time for being here. Please, I encourage you to share this with your friends. If it made an impact with you, share it with them because that's what it's all about, taking what we learned and sharing it. I know that I've taken in the comments that you guys have given me, and please keep them coming because I want to learn from you. I want to, I want this to be something that we do together and that we grow together and that we know that we're always there for each other.
All right, send us home.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Keep rocking it. Remember to write this stuff down. Keep it in your mirror. Keep it on your wall or something. Make sure that this is a part of your life. And thank you. I know that you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you all for being here. Have an amazing day. And thank you again, Sergio, for all that you do.